Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals to episode 415 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week by the three-star champ himself, Mr. Daffin Moody.
Howdy doodly do, everyone. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's video game day, the holiest of all days. Go out there and play some video games.
I intend to. Intend to play some games, then don't begin with D and end with Oxels. But I mean, it's only been like a month since I played anything that wasn't made by From Software. I don't know what's happened.
Had the chills yet.
I don't know what's happened to me. No, because I stopped playing Elden Ring. Started playing Dark Souls 3 because that's just how I am. And then I was like, I'll do New Game Plus. My New Game Plus save is still here. And then I got my New Game Plus save, and I was like, the last thing I did in Dark Souls 3 was when I was making that video. And I made that joke point thing of like, you can just pump all your stats up to 99 with a trainer and punch everything to death. And I was like, oh, all my stats are at 99.
There you go.
How do I fix this? How do I fix this to a normal playthrough? And then I started messing around trying to like use a trainer and do this and do that. And I was like, you know what? I gave up. I'm just going to start a new game. I was like, this is too complicated. New game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. I want to use some of the cool spells, but we'll see if I finish it. I don't know. Kind of just messing around in it for now. But we're also joined this week by the unstoppable graphic designer. And he's unstoppable whether you want him to stop or not. It's Mr. Vitz Patel.
There may be some truth in that. What's good games? How's everybody doing? Speaking of graphic design, if you're listening to this on Saturday, the 10th of August, join us at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/wordsbackgames for legally distinct 90s game shows. Charity stream we're doing for the wonderful team over at Special Effect.
Hell yeah.
And congrats, Amy, on a shiny new set.
What was that? Sorry, Moody?
Have we hit the goal yet? Or are we still just short, may I ask?
We're still short. For the
charity stream.
The big stream. Yeah, we're still short.
Yes,
on that one,
I was 100% sure. I haven't looked in a while, so
we've got multiple charity streams to raise the remainder.
Oh no,
absolutely.
No.
Yeah, once we actually get back into the swing of things. But yes, as Vitz pointed out, it's not a new set. It's the same room. I used to face that wall.
Yes,
and now I don't.
Everything's different.
Now I was like I'm gonna put it off for like when I'm off for 4 days in a row, like, and that's when I'm gonna do my DIY. And then I went to IKEA on the Friday evening, and they had an advert outside for working in IKEA inside of Roblox.
Yeah, that's still.
And I was just like, what?
That's child labor, right?
Well, no, I assume they're hiring adults to do it.
You would hope.
Okay, any adults playing Roblox, are they not ready on some sort of list?
Well, I don't know. Like, that's a complicated topic. I mean, we've discussed once before. But yeah, no.
Text, email, tweet at Dr. Disrespect. He might be able to answer that.
Yeah, I'll ask the doc.
Yeah, or any of Mr. Beast's cohorts.
Oh, Beast's cohorts, yeah, apparently, yeah. Everyone's apparently turning into a nonce.
But anyway, yeah. But
I
anyway,
had to get that in there, sorry.
I bought the desk. I brought that home, and like all the other packages that I was waiting for, apart from the lights, which were coming on the Saturday, I had them all. And my plan was literally, because I only had Saturday free, and then the 4 days free. I was like, I'm not going to do it in a day, but then I was sat here watching TV.
You thought, what if?
And I had like all of the packages stacked up against there, and I was like, but what if? I didn't wait. So I spent Friday night. It took me 2 hours to build the desk because the desk was ridiculously convoluted. And then I emptied everything out of here, and then started cleaned everything, and then started bringing it back in one thing at a time. And I was making it up as I went along. Like everyone assumed I had a plan. I didn't have a plan. I knew where I wanted the desk to go, And then I knew like this whole like unit behind me is new, and I knew where I wanted that to go. And then beyond that, I was like, I don't have a plan. I'm making the rest of it up as I go along. What goes where? I don't know.
May I ask, was there any element of Mary Kondoing any of it to say, thank you for sparking the joy? It's time for you to find a new home.
No, but because I've done that before, like several times, I've like gotten rid of a lot of stuff. This time it was literally just, no, I want to keep everything. Like,
there you go. It's a healthy place to be.
Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games consoles next to my feet.
Yes.
Currently.
And that should not done.
And I am not done. No, not at all. There's 2 more handhelds over there somewhere. I need to get stands for those. But yeah, no, like I'm happy with it the way it is. Like I'm probably gonna like experiment with like placing the webcam and like see where I can like have that from. But yeah, no, like Moody actually gave me like the inspiration that started all of this with his monitor setup.
He's an inspiring fellow. I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah, you went because when I sent you the pictures and you pointed out, oh, that's how I've got my monitors. I was like, yeah, that was the first step in the what if I did this? And I did, yeah. Like I was like, if I get a desk and I stack the monitors on top of each other, I can have the CRT TV next to me, and then when I'm streaming retro games, I just slide to the left.
There you go.
Slide to the right.
Also, I'm taking credit for. Also, I'm taking credit for moving your setup from one side of the room to the other, like I have done.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I mean you've both done that multiple times. Marie's done it multiple times. I think I've seen on this podcast. I think everyone's seen all 4 walls of Marie's room.
They have. There's no doubt about it. When I first moved here, the desk was there.
Yeah.
Then it was there.
Yeah. And then
that way.
Yeah, you had it in the middle. Yeah. But pointed the other way. Yeah.
You've seen
hopefully, all the listeners, you kept up. Moody pointed in every single direction.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, it was every direction, basically.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, it was even like, I've had it in front of the window as well, which I just didn't feel comfortable about whatsoever. I was just
that's
like,
fair.
I'm not liking this.
Yeah, that's fair. But what's fun about this new setup is, do you remember that light I bought? We bought, like I bought it, but you showed it to me, and then we tried it that one week, and it was way too powerful.
Yes.
Well, it's currently on, and it turns out if you put it further away,
it helps.
It helps. But like, obviously, I couldn't do that before, like, because the desk was tiny, and like that's kind of one of the main inspirations for like doing all of this is like I'm not cramped at a desk anymore. Like the old desk, I think you've seen it in pictures. Yeah, it was like it's like,
and you were like this.
And I was like this the entire time, yeah, because if you imagine I'm sitting at my current height, but that shelf behind me is where the monitors were.
Yeah.
Whereas now the main monitor is directly in front of my face. I'm looking directly
like
ahead.
On a good level with you, yeah, it's insane.
I'm looking directly ahead, like, and I can look up, and there's the other monitor.
Like, oh, there you are.
And maybe I'll get a third one. I don't know. Keep going off.
On the same.
So I'm like, I do on a third one because I used to have 3, but it is that case of like, where the fuck would I even put that? Like, there is no room. Like, can I somehow connect my CRT TV into my computer?
I'm sure there's a way.
I'm finding a way to do a lot of things.
There'll be like a SCART to HDMI type cable,
and just like
that you can get.
Have like standard definition, like fucking chat up on a massive tube TV.
Yeah.
That's glowing. but yeah, no, like I'm still waiting on a couple of smaller bits, and there's I'm gonna have to replace this chair if I'm gonna be sitting in it more, because it's not an amazing.
Did you try the ones they had at IKEA?
I sat in a couple of them, but look, I've overspent already. I couldn't really add a chair. But yeah, no,
I'm not saying they're any good at IKEA. It's just like while you're there, you got to go to all the showrooms and I stuck
my ass in a couple of chairs for sure. Like again, like
had a seat in a Poang. See how that felt. How comfy it was.
So my plan was to get a Poang. You can see the shitty chair. It's not a shitty chair. The floor chair over there. But like, my plan was to have a point for like relaxing in, but now I'm just like, I don't think there's good room in here anymore.
I did warn you about the space
for
that
a
Colin
second
takes up.
chair.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've had one before. I know all about the space,
Yeah.
but it is just one of those things where it's like, I think my dreams of a pouring are dead.
For now, at least.
which is why, you know, get the better office chair. If anyone ever says, should I get a gamer chair? The answer is emphatically no. Do not get a gamer chair. They suck. They're awful. They're uncomfortable. They're small. The stupid little arms are fucking rubbish. And they come with those little cushion things that are supposed to be like really good for your posture or whatever. And then you stick them in and you're like, well, I don't feel comfortable anymore.
And remember, dear listener, Amy's speaking from experience, having previously slept on an Iron Maiden, so she knows what she's talking about when she's talking about discomfort.
Oh my god, I could tell you some stories about things I have sat in and or slept on in the past. Like, I know about comfort, let me tell you. But yeah, no, I've got a box coming which will hopefully solve the how do I stream from my old consoles while still playing on my CRT without the picture quality looking absolutely fucking terrible. I had to import a box. Like, that's how crazy this is. Like, you'd think, right? There must be a demand. I've seen so many people streaming retro games that aren't emulated, like from original hardware. It's like there must be some sort of demand for a converter that doesn't stretch the picture 16:9 and keeps
that
it
just
at
does a
4:3.
native. Yeah.
But like, I had to import a box with a button on it. The only difference between this box and a box that I could have bought from the UK was it's got a button on it that changes the aspect ratio of the image. And I had to find that from like deep Reddit research. Like, I'm talking like Amy's video essay levels of research just to find this stupid box. And it's like, oh, it's got 2 input ports. And it's like, cool, I have 5 consoles and counting. I'm not really that bothered about the 2 input ports. But
yeah, a lot of retro is going crazy right now. But I'm curious, is that like, is the industry just like, people are just sick of the industry right now, of just like the games that are getting released and they just want to feel the nostalgia? Because nostalgia is powerful as hell. It's
a weird one, isn't it? Because like, I wonder if it's because like a lot of old games are not getting re-released. Like, I wonder if Xbox's backwards compatibilities actually had that sort of had an actual impact on people wanting to go back and experience more retro games.
Yeah, so I think obviously the 360 store closing down had a lot of people yearning for the halcyon days of playing like the previous Halo games and Project Gotham Racing and all the rest of it. So people had a hankering to go back to those. So yeah, I think there's something in that.
But yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Like, retro gaming is becoming more of a thing. Like, I can only answer why I'm doing it, and the reason I'm doing it is because I just wanted to. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I just dug the old consoles out that I had, and then I was like, what do I have? And then I was like, what do I want? And then I was like, well, I'll focus on a series. And then Zelda games started appearing behind me. It's crazy.
I mean, also, we can't necessarily trust platform holders to do game preservation themselves properly. So sometimes you take matters into your own hand.
That's true.
Definitely true.
It was like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
That happened with Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I said those exact words. I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. And I put my GameCube in, and I was like, put the disc in, and I was like, fuck you, Nintendo. Not giving me a fucking Wind Waker port for Switch. Now I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to buy one because the problem with collecting games is you kind of like, well, now I have to continue the collection going forward. Yeah, it's like Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. All right, cool. That's another one I've added to the spreadsheet, I guess.
Sidebar: how adorable does Princess Peach look on a horse?
Looks good. Looks good. It's like, it's going to be the first physical game I buy, like current generation, in so long. Like when I was in CEX though, like, you know how like people trade stuff in and they keep them on the counter for a while.
Yeah.
And like on top of the pile directly in front of me, I shit you not, was the new Pacific Drive physical release.
Nice.
So I was stood there. I was like, "Oh yeah, you've got an Xbox. Here you go." And he was like, "The guy was like, do you have a controller?" I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, we're gonna have to do it." I was like, "Look, I already asked on Saturday, and I am a bit tilted because when I came in on Saturday, I would have got 20 quid more than today. Thanks very much for that." But I like, as I was waiting, I like looked down and I was like, it's like one of those moments where I just like looked down and then I looked up and then I was like,
maybe did double take.
It's like, I mean, I already own it, but
Now your shelf can own it too.
my shelf. Oh my god, I've left a little. There's a little bit of breathing room everywhere. There's a little bit of space for extra books, especially after I took out all the Neil Gaiman ones because I didn't really want them on my shelf anymore.
Understandable.
You know, there's a little bit of space for DVDs. There's a lot of space for retro games. There's a lot of space for Zelda and whatever goes on the other side when I get to it. But like, I am conscious of the fact that I'm gonna hit a crunch point at some point, and I don't know if I can squeeze any more space out of this room. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I've got all my Zeldas and all my other thing, and then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna start collecting Kirby games because for some reason in my head I'm like, I really want Kirby games. I don't know why. And I'm like, well, where the fuck are you gonna put them? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll fucking super glue all the boxes to the wall. Like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Like, Vitz correctly identified from my photos. Like, the second you buy another console, you're gonna need more shelves. And I was like, yeah, no. But it's future Amy's problem.
I mean, you're gonna have to buy a new bed that's like an ottoman that just lifts up, and then you've got all that space to put stuff underneath.
Even if I wasn't gonna buy another single retro console, there's still a ticking clock on I don't have enough space for consoles because Nintendo's bringing out a new console within the next year. There's a clock hanging over my head no matter what on this issue. So I'm a bit concerned, but it's future Amy's problem. Right now, I'm just enjoying the vibes.
Exactly. It's not 1,000,000 degrees outside for once.
Oh, it was so
Enjoy
nice.
those vibes.
I went out to the shops and I was like, it's cold. I forgot what this felt like.
Yeah. It rained a bit today, which was nice.
Yeah. Like, I felt like it was like steam coming off of my skin as it was like the raindrops were hitting me. I was like, ah.
You know, it's gonna get hotter.
Shut up, man.
Next week. Like, Monday's apparently gonna be 33 degrees.
Like, let us enjoy this.
Like, tomorrow onwards, it's like just gonna start getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter.
Like, why would you bring that up right now?
I don't know. I like chaos.
That just reminded me of the Simpsons episode where Homer's trying to pose as Mr. Burns, and he goes into the post office and says, "Okay, Mr. Burns, we just need to know your first name."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Benson, what's your first name? I don't know.
Exactly.
I saw on social media, Twitter, someone put because I get Simpsons clips all the time, and someone posted part of the Planet of the Apes musical.
Oh, yeah.
That they did, Dr. Seuss, that one.
Exactly.
And then for 2 days.
Can I play the piano anymore? Well, of course you can. Well,
I couldn't before.
Exactly. I love legitimate theatre.
I had the whole musical stick in my head for like 2.5 days after I saw like one small clip of it. Like, I was walking around.
They made a monkey out of you, Ames. They finally
I was walking around just kind of catching myself like singing along to it. Like, I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. I was just like, what the fuck did the Simpsons do to me, man?
It incepted a lot of stuff, is what it did.
It wasn't even the full musical. I saw 30 seconds of it, and the whole thing manifested in my head. And I know it all off by heart. Like, I need you to understand how bad my memory is. But the second I saw, like, 10 seconds of Troy McClure singing Dr. Seuss, the whole, like, 5-minute musical came back to me. And I didn't even remember it was Moody's birthday until someone posted in the Discord, and he told me the day before.
That's the thing. What important information have you elected not to put in there and store? Because Simpson stuff is there.
Where people's names and birthdays are supposed to go in my brain, it's just Simpsons references.
Really, we're lucky she didn't say happy birthday, Troy McClure. It could have happened.
That is true. That is true, sir. True words.
Oh, anyway,
True
speaking
words,
about
indeed.
words, should we do some words about games?
Yes.
It's a double segue.
Double segue.
She said the name. She said the thing.
Exactly, she did the thing.
She did the thing.
Vitz, I have a question to ask you. Why do so many video game adaptations miss?
It's a very good question. This is in light of Borderlands, the movie, directed by Eli Roth, on the precipice of coming out, and they had a few screeners. And as what tends to happen, kind of thing, reviewers go and they watch these screeners, and then they give their thoughts and they post these on various social medias. Coming from a quote from Eurogamer, early Borderlands movie impressions brand it, quote, disaster and, quote, huge misfire. And it tends to be the fact that this movie in particular went through development hell kind of thing. Initially announced back in 2015, then it went on like a bit of a hiatus. They re-announced it in February 2020 with Eli Roth at the helm, who directed Hostel. And then, yeah, it had a pretty stacked cast, but by all accounts, and as of the time we're recording, it is now at 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It finally has a positive review.
Yeah, exactly. For the longest time, it was at 0, but apparently some people think this is one of the movies of all time. But yeah, it seems to be another nail in the coffin of video game adaptations, particularly in the movie space. I think we've had some better success when it comes to the TV, and especially in the animated space. When it comes to live action, it tends to be more misses than hits. And I just wanted to take a moment to kind of dive into why that might be. And I have a few theories. One is that the production houses making these movies, it's similar to the discussion we were having last week when a company happens to make a great product in spite of everything else that it's trying to do. The number one goal of these picture houses is to make money. Not necessarily anything wrong with that, but their primary objective is to make money. If they happen to make a good or great movie as a side effect, then that's decent too. And so it's kind of like with most of these video game movies, these people at the production houses, they must watch all the movies that pass through their door kind of thing, unless you're Warner Brothers and David Zaslav and you just think, oh, person of color, let's shelve that project, let's cancel everybody on the production staff. So they must have an internal barometer as to what's good and what's bad. But regardless of what that is, all the marketing is designed to fool and gaslight people into heading into this movie, particularly those who are susceptible to having an affinity for an established IP that they know and they care for, such as Borderlands, or this can be any video game movie, that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, it strikes me as a bit predatory. You're targeting these people and people who haven't heard of Borderlands and just want to go see summer blockbuster or whatever it is. But these people are vested in the franchise, in the IP, and they have parasocial relationships with the characters at this point, and they want to see them on the big screen and represented in the same love and care that they would see in Gearbox's titles. And it's one of these where it seems to be, no matter how stacked the cast is, it always seems to fail. And for me, it boils down to the production staff not having the same people in the room who put the original IP together and kind of know the backstory, know the ins and outs of it, and knows what makes the IP tick and what makes it resonate with people, and then translating that into live action or whatever medium it happens to be. And I think that just happens not often enough, and it will be a bunch of execs in suits saying, well, market research shows that that's not going to work, and I have this other idea which is absolutely going to succeed, and we should go down that, even though it's completely antithetical to what the IP is or what the characters are supposed to be doing and their kind of motivations into what they would usually do in a video game kind of thing. And I was having a look at a list of films based on video games, and we'll focus on live action at the moment. There's a bunch of obviously upcoming releases as well, which I'm sure is going to be amazing. Case in point, Street Fighter is coming. There's another one of those coming in 2026. And will it have the same camp and fun dynamic as Street Fighter 1984 with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia? Absolutely not. And that's what makes that movie great. And it's the same way that we see a bunch of comic books and how they get adapted into movies, and sometimes they lose the tone. And I think that was a critique that lots of people have with the DCEU, that Zack Snyder came in and said, okay, everything needs to be dark and gritty. But it's like, my guy, you're talking about Superman. This is the one individual supposed to be light and hope and...
Oh, God, don't remind me about Zack Snyder.
Exactly.
Batman would get butt fucked in prison. Like, fuck off, Zack.
Yeah. So it was one of these where they don't necessarily get the tone that... the tone or the reason why it resonates with people. And then it just spirals from there. And because the people in the suits have all the power, and not necessarily the writing staff or even the director has any say in what actually turns out once it goes to the editing room, that kind of thing. And that's where we land ourselves in. So if we take a look at Amy, obviously you brought this up when you had your deep dive into all things Resident Evil. And the roller coaster nature, exactly the roller coaster nature of the Resident Evil movies.
Sorry.
But even
roller coaster nature of the Resident Evil movies. Yeah, if the roller coaster was Oblivion.
Yes, exactly. That's the roller coaster I was thinking of. For our international viewers, Oblivion is a roller coaster in a place called Alton Towers, where it is just a sheer drop.
You just go down.
Yeah,
I went on
just
it.
goes
It was
down.
the worst, one of the worst experiences of my life.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and there was kind of a spate of video game movies, and people thought, "Oh, this is the next rich gold mine that we're gonna vein and make all the money." Because what do people like? Video games. What do people like? Money, and we want some of that money. So we had those, and we had titles like Angelina Jolie starring in the Tomb Raider movies and things like that. And then we went through that phase of Doom with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
All of these old wounds.
but then we also we had obviously the Prince of Persia movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he decided he was going to portray that character as well. And there are some shining lights, but tends to be in the animated stuff. So I know a lot of people are the fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Super Mario Brothers, which came out last year as well. Everybody's they're more hot on those movies than they are on most of the live action stuff that
Move on.
Okay, we're getting shakes of the head.
Sonic 1
No,
is fun. That's got heart. There's no doubt about
really?
that. That Sonic 2 is the biggest pile of fucking garbage in the
Fitz,
world.
I'm sorry, Amy. I activated your trap card.
For
fuck's sakes.
But yeah, we look at Monster Hunter, and we think about Monster Hunter World and what people love about that game of getting together, having the palicos, and being able to dress them up and put hunters in outfits and stuff, and go out on a co-op mission and take down a monster. Obviously, Monster Hunter World, there's a many hurdle and hoops to jump through to get co-op to work. But that's the kind of net goal of going out into this lush environment, tracking down a beast and taking it down and all the rest of it. And then you see what we actually got in the Monster Hunter movie, which is the American military going through a portal to go to another world where they run into Tony Jaa. Sure. And yeah, it's just completely opposite. And it's kind of, there has to be some sort of reason as to why this keeps happening again and again and again and again. And as much as we've spoken about on this podcast of the execs need to go because they keep making the bad decisions, I think it's a similar story here when it comes to the movie space.
it's a mixture of a lot of things, really. At the end of the day, for when I was doing my movie podcast and whatnot, it's like literally is a lot of things. Like it's just bad talent. And what the hell happened there?
Keep going.
It's all good.
Was that me?
Keep rolling. It's all good.
Okay. I don't even know where I was at. Yeah,
bad talent, you were saying.
Yeah, it's a mixture of like bad talents, bad hiring. Like you brought up like the Resident Evil movies and like the Monster Hunter movies. There's one guy who's directed all of those movies, and he somehow just keeps getting jobs, and he's the worst director in the effing world. And he always puts his wife in there as well as the main character and everything. And it's just really. But the worst thing is about it, the Resi movies all made money. That's the worst thing about it. Like they were they were made for such cheap money. They made the money back basically within a week. And that's basically what's the early 90s, 2000s, say mid 10s as well, even the 10s.
The Monster Hunter movie still grossed $42 million.
Because it's got Monster Hunter on it. This is why they do it. They don't give a shit about making a Monster Hunter movie. They just make a film, slap the Monster Hunter name on it, and a bunch of fucking dweebs will go and pay way too much money to go and see it 5 times because it's got the Monster Hunter name on it.
This is why I'm saying it's predatory to begin with. People need to hold these people accountable.
It's not predatory. At this point in history, it's 2024. We've been getting these movies for like 30 fucking years. It's been, 35 years since Super Mario Brothers starring Bob Hoskins graced cinema? Like, at this point, you should know better. Like, you should know better than to go and see a video game movie thinking you're going to get something good. I'm not saying all video game movies are bad. Most of them are, but that's neither here nor there. It's like, if you're going to go and blindly watch a film because it's got a name of a thing that you happen to like on it, like, the chances are it's going to be nothing like the thing that you like. Like expanding this to TV, the Halo debacle. Like, a Halo TV show is a great idea. A Halo TV show not about the Halo is fine. Like, show, like, some of that rich history, that rich backstory, you know? Like, whatever. It's cool. Like, you can tell other stories apart from the ones from the video games. But, like, tell a story that's like consistent with Halo. Like the thing that I get, you want to do something a bit different from the video games, and I support the fuck out of that. I would like to see, if I want to see a TV show based on a video game, I kind of want to see something different of the thing I've already played. But like,
sorry to cut across you, because we have the Tomb Raider movie, which is a 1-to-1 remake, and we don't need that again.
Like the thing has to be Halo. Like, at its core, like, it has to feel like it belongs as part of like the Halo universe, the Halo franchise, because otherwise you're just taking the piss out of people who, and I've never seen it. I've only read about it and heard about it, and everything I've heard about it suggests that that's not something I would want to watch if I want my room to survive the experience.
He takes his mask off, apparently.
Why does he take his helmet off?
I don't know.
Because we need to see his face, because that's how acting works. Well, what happened in The Mandalorian then? Never took his fucking helmet off in that. The Mandalorian's a better Halo TV show than Halo.
I haven't played all the Halo games, so I don't know for certain if he takes his mask off and then allegedly bangs an alien.
He doesn't.
And we see those cheeks and they'll be clapping.
No. Chief never takes the helmet off on the head. I don't know about the other one, though.
We're getting there slowly. You'll have played them all at some point in your life. We're moving closer and closer through future via the means of charity. Moody will eventually have played all of the Halo games. But no, it doesn't have to be Halo, the TV show, the story of the games. Big green man runs around a ring punching aliens to death. Whatever. Doesn't even have to be about Big Green Man. But like, it has to still feel like Halo. Like there was there's that thing you can find on YouTube, and I believe it was directed by Neil Blomkamp, where it's like it's like a live action sequence from made in the Halo universe. I think he was either trying to get a job directing a Halo film, or it was part of marketing for one of the Halo games. But like, it's fantastic. And it feels like Halo, even though it has nothing. It's not like from any of the games. It just feels great. But you know, like I think of like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
The TV show, which, you know, like a lot of people like more than me. I thought it was fine. There were some good episodes, but like, you know, I've seen all of this before. But it feels like The Last of Us. Like I watch it and I'm like, even when they made changes to stuff, it's like this still feels like it's part of The Last of Us, right? Like, you know, fucking Pedro Pascal's not getting naked, like, banging Anatov, and it's like, what the fuck even is this shit?
And I think a lot of that's down due to the creative people at the helm. So Druckmann came over and did the graft with the gentleman whose name escapes me at the moment, who did Chernobyl.
But like, I mean, if that's the benchmark, like, do we have like, if we have to have the people who made the game respond in like also making the thing, the video game adaptation, like that kind of sucks, because like I want to see other people's interpretations of these worlds as well.
100%.
But
it's
like,
all about execution. Sorry for putting in that.
No, it's fine.
Apologies. Like, that's all it is.
Same
It's
thing.
literally, it is all about execution. You see it on everything. Like, sorry to go off for like a different tangent here, but like the Phase 4 for the MCU has been widely overall not well received. And it's back now because of Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a great film. I loved it and everything. Had a great time. But everything would be completely different if they executed that first part of Phase 4 perfectly, or good at least, you know? It'd be completely, everyone would be saying completely different things. They'll just be saying, MCU puts out another good film, makes money, blah, blah, blah type of thing. And that's all it would be. The train continues to chew with bringing in the money for the MCU and whatnot. And it's the same for this. Sadly, when it came to like for the Resi films, it was just like make it quick, make it cheap, make it quick, make it easy buck. And that's what it was at the end of the day. And they threw in as many references they could, like saying, oh, now we're going to bring in Lingon, now we're going to bring in Claire and everything. And they weren't Claire from the games that we grew up and loved. He was not Leon. It wasn't Chris. It wasn't anybody. All it was just like, oh, but all the characters that we enjoyed playing and everything, they are literally not even side characters. They're extras behind the zombies who are behind Mila Jovovich, who was a nobody character who was just boring and just blur.
She was wearing Ada's dress for some reason.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's just, and Ada's in it eventually.
Whitewashed Ada. The 90s.
And it's the same goes for like...
Sorry, Scarlett Johansson was taking roles back then.
Yeah. The early 2000s...
I think you might go on this time.
Love.
There we go.
Was the Hitman movie. I think the first Hitman movie, nails the feel of the Hitman. Like the guy who plays as him feels like Agent Zero. Is he
47.
47, anyway.
You were close.
An agent with a number and a ball.
A number, right?
I think they felt like that really well, and I think but it got no love and everything. To see.
Yeah. Apparently grossed 82 million and had a Metacritic score of 28 out of 100.
I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah. But it's like Mario made $1.5 billion last year because of nostalgia alone. Just because it was a Mario mode. And it was animated. Animated movies also get a wide berth for a lot of things these days. Just because it's animated, because it's easy for the families, for parents to take their kids to switch off, for them to basically have a nap for an hour and a half.
How anybody can sleep through that movie? I'm not, like, with the little colours and the loud noises. I don't know.
I haven't seen it. I made a conscious decision to like basically not watch video game adaptations a long time ago, and I feel healthier for it. Like I've seen a couple, but for the most part, like I don't know, I don't have much faith in them. Being more than the sort of the cash grab thing that you were talking about, Vitz, where it's like the Borderlands film happened because they wanted to make a film with Borderlands, like called Borderlands, to speak to people who know what Borderlands is.
2, which was well received and was a massive success. So they tried to hop on the train and everything.
Yeah,
but that game came out what, 2012,
Yeah.
It's like
if gap's not that big of a deal in movies. If you're thinking they were hoping the boys get that wrapped filmed.
2015 is when it
wrapped
was
by
first.
2017, 2018 at the latest. I don't think there's that big of a difference then, but this is now literally 12 years after Borderlands 2 and everything. And I think the shine has kind of fallen off Borderlands a little bit, even though Borderlands 3, I think, made a lot of money for them and everything. It didn't get well received compared to what Borderlands 2 was and everything, or even the first Borderlands, I don't think. So
yeah, there are a few upcoming movies that I'm curious to find out how they shake out. So I'm talking specifically about the Legend of Zelda live action film, which is in the works, or allegedly in the works.
You didn't say he was. Like, how are they going to do a friggin' Legend of Zelda film when the main character goes, yeah? That's
because they'll have him speak.
Yeah.
he's going to speak.
Great. That's what I want.
Exactly. Metal Gear.
Metal Gear's been in the works since the first Metal Gear game.
It sure has been.
The 90s
was a film.
movie.
Yeah, it's called Escape from New York.
The film itself, there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
But yeah, there's
one of the biggest problems with video game adaptations, like, is that the stories themselves, for the most part, are designed to be played. There's an immersive element that's a part of the storytelling. I think it's one of the reasons why The Last of Us was more successful than a lot of other video game adaptations, because, well, you can take the game out of the first Last of Us and pretty much like still have a great, like, you still have the gripping narrative. Like, the gameplay doesn't matter very much to the actual narrative, which, you know, I love that game. I'm not necessarily knocking it, but like, and Mario is just so malleable. You can make anything. But then you get to like Assassin's Creed, and it's like, well, what the fuck do you do with an Assassin's Creed film? Do you make a film of the first game? That would be not good. Like, a big part of the appeal of the Assassin's Creed series is you're the one doing the assassinating.
Yep.
So do you make it your own thing? But like, I mean, get the story, and I'm gonna get, people are gonna be mad at me. Like, the stories for Assassin's Creed, like, they're not, I don't know if they hold up necessarily all that well without the gameplay element.
I'm in agreement with you, and especially the future stuff, which I'm sure they lent into. And I think, I haven't seen the Assassin's Creed movies, but I believe Michael Fassbender plays an original character. So, and that's always a that's, we can go two ways when you do that, because obviously people are there because you've got them in for the IP, because they like Assassin's Creed. They hope to see Desmond Miles or someone like that rock up, and then you're doing an original character, which I can appreciate from the stance of, we want to tell an original story in this world.
Yeah.
But that might not be what people are signing up for in the first place. They might want to see Altair or Ezio.
You can make a good version of any of the IP in video games. It's just, there has to be. Yeah, it's almost like trying to make films in a different way than you normally would, right? Like, I remember the first Silent Hill film and going to see that in cinemas, and like, it's not a great film, but like, there's definitely moments where you can tell like the director was paying attention to what he was making. Like, the entire opening is fantastic, and like the camera work and like the set piece and everything is great, and there are moments in that film that are fantastic, and then the characters start talking, and it's like, all of the air is let out of the room while I'm watching the film. It's like, wow, you went with this. Okay, fair enough.
I partially kind of agree where Amy's come up from when you say it's because they're trying to adapt the game into like a 2-hour, say, movie and everything like that. Yeah. And you're obviously taking out the gameplay element to it. For me, I agree with to a certain point, but then for me, I always just go with, when it comes to a movie or even a TV show, we're going there more for the characters at the end of the day. And sadly, most of all these movies we've all ticked off, apart from, like, say, The Last of Us. I would even choose Fallout. I think it was overall well received, very successful. And by the end, like, both me and Amy were like, yeah, we'll probably see season 2 and everything, because like by the end, I think the characters actually got to us, especially for me. And that's overall what it is. If we connect to a character, I think anything can be pushed aside. For a lot of things can be pushed aside quite easily. I think it's shown very, very well done in Deadpool and Wolverine. You're there to see Deadpool and Wolverine, the characters, but you also can know them because of us how well both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have played these characters, and you connect with them, and there's a lot of heart from just
100%.
their performance in that film. But there's a lot of just everything else thrown at the dartboard, and it lands for the most part. But also some of it's just like, really? Did you go that way? But overall, you're there. You're overall enjoying your time because of the characters that you all love, you've all loved, and everything. And that's the thing about it. I think if all those Resident Evil movies just had that one main character or a couple of characters that we all connected with and just like were brilliantly well written, and not Mila Jovovich shoved into it for the heck of it, just because she was the wife of the man and everything, but I don't care. They'll be far better received than they are now these days. And it all goes for every single thing. If we connect to the characters and like the characters, we'll be fine. Like Last of Us blew up because we connected with the characters. We understood Joel. We understood Ellie. We understood every character in there, even the bad ones. We understood their point of view and everything, and that's because they were well written and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the zombie part of it, that's just there as a catalyst and everything. It's what happens, like when the two brothers who sadly put spoilers for both The Last of Us and the TV show, but they've been out for a while now.
Sam and Hendry.
When they die, I knew it was coming, but the TV show did it so well. I was like, "Fuck, that still worked. That still worked."
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that? And that's so showing the characters, but also the execution. If you do that brilliantly, or even just good, you're gonna have a great success. And sadly, everything that we've talked about, the Resident Evil movies, most of the movies out there and everything, the characters are just not there. And that's what it is all about. It like, yes, the gameplay element, I do see where Amy comes from, but I think that can easily wiped away if you connect with the character.
Well, yeah, it's about how you do an adaptation, right? Like more films are adaptations than people realize, because like a lot of films
100%.
are adapted from books and people don't really read anymore. But that's evident from fucking everything that's happening in the UK right now. But they haven't really figured out that you can't translate a game 1-to-1 into film and have it work. You have to adapt it rather than just sort of copy paste.
Yeah, it needs to be a screenplay.
And it needs to be a screenplay. Like you need to replace the immersive elements of the video game with something in terms of like filmmaking. It goes both ways. Like, remember when video game adaptations of licensed films mostly
licensed
used to
IP
be terrible.
games, we love those.
The licensed IP games, they're terrible. Like, Batman Arkham Asylum came and finally made a good one, but like before that, like it was a wasteland of awful games. Like,
and Arkham Asylum wasn't tied to a Batman movie release.
Yeah,
and there was
a
Batman Begins. It was a Batman Begins video game, and it was pants apparently.
Arkham Asylum was fantastic because because the developers at Rocksteady were like, we're making a video game, so like let's make this with the structure and the skeleton of a video game. So you have lots of bosses, you have different levels, you have different areas to explore. Like, here's the boss of this level, here's the boss of this level, and then the omnipresent threat of the Joker. And it's like, you need to take that approach to making film and TV out of video game licenses. It's like, you can make original stories with original characters. Like, you don't have to have the Master Chief in a Halo TV show. Like, you can just set it in the Halo universe and let the tone carry it. There's this fantastic trilogy of Halo novels by Karen Travis, which like explores the aftermath of Halo 3 and a lot of the troubling implications of the law that was haphazardly set up by those games. That whole thing, oops, war crimes, but like, it's fantastic
to finish the fight. That's all we ever heard about Halo 3.
It's a fantastic trilogy of novels. It's a really well told story. With characters that aren't in the video games. I think like the Arbiter's in like one part of the first novel, like giving a speech or something. But like, Master Chief's not in it, Cortana's not in it. Like, but it's still a great time because you see Karen Travis introduces a bunch of characters that are really cool and puts them in a really interesting story, and it carries the tone of Halo, but is completely different from anything from Halo. Like, but it tells it shines a light on a different part of the Halo universe. It's great. I loved it.
Yeah.
And like, you just need to take that sort of approach to making the films. It's like, you don't necessarily have to have Halo 1 be season 1 of the Halo TV show, but you have to do something interesting with it at the very least. And I don't think enough thought is put into these adaptations to really do that. And then you see comments from people who are like in charge of the Halo TV show. Well, we didn't play the games and we don't have any idea what they are. And it's like, that is what's called a recipe for disaster.
Sure is.
Like, you don't have to make something to please the fans. In fact, it's usually better if you don't. But like, you have to have an understanding of the thing that you're adapting. Like, the classic example is Star Trek Nemesis brought in a new director to make this film because they thought, if you get a fresh eyes on it, we'll make something that more people will want to see. And the guy had no idea what fucking Star Trek was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made a film that pissed out all the Star Trek fans off, but still nobody wanted to see because it was getting bad reviews.
No, 100%. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And to use a different reference when it comes to Marvel and the MCU, when Sam Raimi took Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and was following the story on from WandaVision, he chose not to watch WandaVision. And then that's where all the kind of character and story arc problems of her character kind of stems from, in terms of the director couldn't be asked or had or thought of themselves as such an auteur that they didn't need to be burdened with whatever knowledge that came before.
And that's
good
cool.
News,
like having a director have like a passion, have like I have a vision, like pun not intended, with this film. And like, I want to make this film in my own way, but it's like, man, you're part of something bigger. Like,
yes.
you have to follow on from the thing that people have already seen. You can't just fucking go off on your own direction. You can go off on your own direction and make a really like iconic movie, but it also has to like be a part of the thing.
Yeah,
I don't blame Remy for that though, because I don't believe he wrote this movie, so he's just going off the script he's given, and he's also getting followed by Kevin Feige. Feige's the one who, I would say Feige is the one who failed Doctor Strange more than anything, and the writing.
that's right.
And he would have 9 times out of 10, a director's basically thrown in there for the MCU is, we don't really touch the script. Anything like that, so. I might be incorrect with Doctor Strange 2 there. He might have done it, but
we're venturing into MCU MCU critique
what
territory here.
What we'll say is there's good news because Christoph Gans has been attached to a Return to Silent Hill film coming soon, so we'll have that always to look forward to.
I know.
And I'm just happy that I managed to get through this segment without going on about the Gran Turismo movie and any of that. So
yeah,
peace.
Peace out.
No, this is character growth. It's not just focusing in on.
Apparently,
the biggest thing for me when it comes to video games movies is stop trying. For the most part, even though like The Last of Us, I think pulled it off the best. Stop trying to adapt what was already been done. That's for me, for the most part. I don't need to see all those stories again. For the most part, even though, Last of Us I loved, I can't deny that. I'll admit that. But they adapt enough of that to change it up where I felt different things at the same time, which I think worked.
Yeah, I think the stuff that they did with the Nick Offerman character. Amazing. Completely different from the game. I love that episode. That was the one where I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. This was amazing. Yeah. But like, I get what you mean. It's like... You can make original content.
It's like the Uncharted movie. That's like basically Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 all mixed into one.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you do that? Why? Why are you doing this? You don't need to put those set pieces in there. People who have already played those games have seen them do something different and everything like that. And that's what they basically went for. Even though Uncharted did very well, apparently, and I think there's a sequel coming for that movie and whatnot. Yep. But it's like... For me, I don't want to see, overall, 9 times out of 10, the same story.
100%, and I'm with you. And I think the reason Uncharted is getting a sequel is not necessarily because it was trying for storytelling or anything like that. It's because it made money.
No doubt, it made money.
It does
It's got the Uncharted name on it. It goes back to the very first thing I said. It's like they put the fucking Uncharted name on it, and a bunch of dweebs. And look, I don't say dweebs derogatory. Look at me, but like... a bunch of dweebs go and pay a bunch of money to go and see it like 5 times, and they buy all of the fucking special popcorn buckets, and like they get the Tom Holland mask. I don't know what they sell at cinemas anymore. I haven't been for years, but like and it works. It works every time because it's got the name. It's the brand recognition. It's the same reason we get endless sequels and reboots of video game franchises. It's got the brand recognition. That's why there's 2 games called Prey.
No, 1,000%. And I think the cautionary tale that I've taken away from video games, or video game adaptations, I should say, is that I am not the target audience for them in terms of people who may have already experienced the story in what is arguably the best medium when it comes to video games for those stories, because the interactive elements and being able to attach yourselves to the characters and whatnot. These projects aren't for me. They're for people who are brand new to whatever IP it is, and it's more of a gateway drug of I know it's not built for this intention, but my kind of head retcon to make it make sense in my own head is that these projects are there to get people invested into the story, into the characters. So then there's a tie-in that kind of works in reverse to say, oh, there's a video game based on this. Maybe I'll go check that out, or maybe I'll check out a sequel to that video game, which is upcoming. It's not the other way around, which I think most movie studios go about it in terms of, yes, we'll stick the recognizable name on there, and we'll get these chumps to come in and slough this up 5 times, that kind of thing. But yeah,
just call them dweebs.
There's no doubt about one of the things you brought up was spot on. The feeling. The feeling it's right. That's the thing about, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but like there's like 30 or 40 seconds of The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
It still feels like The Last of Us. That's the thing about it.
Sure does.
Like, it feels like The Last of Us, and that's what's so exciting. Exciting for me. Like, I know I'm going to be basically getting the same story again. Sorry, people.
Yay!
But I'm excited to see that again. This is the thing about it.
Yeah.
Like, especially like.
Me too. I love Pedro Pascal. I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal is so good. Like, that's the thing about it. They nailed the casting spot on, and that's also what sadly sometimes the studios aren't doing. They are nailing the worst talent out there who are just some of it, like for the Resi films, it's because they were cheap. All of them. I don't mean this in rudely or whatsoever, because this TV is some of the best storytelling out there and everything, but some of the actors they got for the Resi movies were just small-time TV actors. And I don't mean that. It's going to sound like it's a bad thing.
I know what you mean. The landscape back then was you were either a film actor or you were a TV actor.
Yeah,
and there wasn't much crossover, and it was like seen as like kind of a thing. It's like, if you're gonna do TV, you sure you want to ruin your career? Like, that's what the industry used to be like. I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, now it isn't like that.
Like Ali Lara was in the Resident Evil films, and she's the very definition of a TV actress from like that sort of period of time. Like, I remember she was in everything. Like,
she was in Lost, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think she was in Lost. She was in Heroes.
Yeah,
like she was in every like big TV show you can imagine. Yeah. And then she just popped up in the Resident Evil movies. It's just like, wow, you're really miscast here.
Yeah, she was Claire Redfield.
Yeah, Ali Lara is Claire Redfield. Like, if you gave me 1,000 picks for Claire Redfield, I probably wouldn't have said. Even in the 90s, I probably wouldn't have gone, Ali Lara, she'd be great as Claire Redfield. Bella Ramsey would be good as Claire Redfield. Anyway, let's wrap this segment up. If anyone has any final thoughts before we move on.
No, all this is a cautionary tale. Protect your hearts when you
go see Borderlands.
Yeah.
One person has liked it, and that's not even an exaggeration. Like, one person who's seen it has come out and gone, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
They just did it to get the click engagement of liking Borderlands. I guarantee.
And they were just like, it's Grace Randolph. Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah,
she's the biggest clickbaity person out there, and
I just went on Rotten Tomatoes and read the summary of the review, and the only thing I can see is like, she likes Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Which fair, I do too. That's why I saw Thor Ragnarok.
Who doesn't like Cate Blanchett? There's no doubt.
I saw that picture of Thor Ragnarok holding Mjolnir, and I was like, ooh, I feel things.
Yeah.
Why, it's so tingly and got hot in here suddenly. What the
fuck? It's like,
Danielle Steele write this?
Oh, gee, damn. Oh god, I think I'm gonna pass out. Yeah, no, like I didn't love her character in Thor Ragnarok as like a villain, but like I will defend that character to the ends of the earth.
I loved her as a villain.
Like,
I loved her. I thought she was amazing.
Just because it was Cate Blanchett, goth Cate Blanchett.
But yes, this is what
I can be shallow, it turns out.
Who knew? I think Resi Village showed you that.
Don't know what you're talking about. It's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is something we do every week where we talk about a cool-looking, upcoming indie game that we think you should wishlist. If you like indie games, go to the description, click on the link for this game, and add it to your wishlist. Just below or above, I can't remember, somewhere in the description, there's also a link to our Steam Curator page, which has every previous indie game of the week on it. So you go click on that. There's a whole massive list of indie games that we've talked about in the past several years. And you can go and you can see all those games. Buy some of them. A lot of them are out now. But normally this is the part where I'd be talking for a bit about cool-looking upcoming indie game. But I didn't pick this one. Vitz, tell me about Castaway.
Yeah, so sadly not the Tom Hanks movie, but this is this is a kind of top-down adventure in the style of Link's Legend of Zelda Game Boy games, and Link's Awakening is my touchstone to this, and that's why I thought of you, Ames, when this one came around. So you take the role of this person who looks a hell of a lot like Link, but apparently isn't Link, and is named Martin, not Lonk, like I'm going to call him when I play this game. There's all the kind of abilities and the movesets that you would attribute to a Legend of Zelda game, but it's a really small adventure. You are there tasked to find your dog, or to save your dog, rather.
John Wick.
And it's just focused on 3 dungeons. And once you finish the story, there's a survivor mode, a 50-floor death tower, and from the description, you enjoy classic mechanics, charming visual style, and enchanting soundtrack. What's there not to love? There are pacifist modes and making yourselves invincible, and there's some challenging unfair mode as well, which I'm probably not going to touch. But yeah, this game looks awesome. The graphic style looks gorgeous, and it scratches all those itches of Legend of Zelda. Want the Oracle of Agents and Seasons games not in my hand in remastered form, but we are getting Echoes of Wisdom, which looks just as amazing. But yes, Castaway, go wishlist it. It is out next week, and go do the thing.
Hell yeah, go do that. Go follow Vitz's advice. Go wishlist this game. Looks good. My desk is rattling every time I lean on it in a specific place. I don't know why. It's annoying. I'm gonna like I said, there's some kinks.
You break out the old screwdriver.
There's some kinks to work out in this room. Like I said,
teething troubles.
But yeah, Lonk was what I called my Dark Souls 2 character.
Yes,
because you got to do it. Like if anyone ever watches my video essays and like you can name a character in the game that I'm talking about in the video essay. I guarantee you at some point in the video, like there'll be a bit where you can see the character name and the character is named a joke.
Yes.
My Dark Souls 3 video, the character was named Thrillho. Simpsons reference. In Bloodborne, my character was called Brexit. You've got to do these things.
Yeah.
Nice little Easter eggs for people to look out for if they ever watch my video essays. Anyway, let's get to a halftime break so I can get a new drink and we can have a little stretch of our legs.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Moody's going to love the next topic. I'm sure of it.
I can't wait.
I've seen it, you rat bastards.
What's it going to be? Stay tuned, dear listener.
Stay tuned for more podcast.
What's good, everybody? I hope you're having the best day. The Words About Games podcast is fundraising for the fabulous team over at Special Effect. If you didn't know, Special Effect is a charity that transforms the lives of physically disabled people all over the world through innovative use of technology. The heart of their work is the mission to maximize fun by helping people control video games to the best of their abilities. They're bringing families and friends together, having a profoundly positive impact in quality of life, confidence, and rehabilitation. Amy, Moody, and I have been working on a number of streams to bring you a whole host of shows, games, shenanigans, and more. Everything from ranking Resident Evil, becoming the noble team in Halo Reach, and finding our competitive streak in legally distinct and 90s game shows. We've got several more charity streams in the works, and with your help, we can get there. Special Effect is a charity near and dear to our hearts, and we'd love your support in raising as much money as possible to bring the joy of video games to so many more people. Simply click on the link in the description below of wherever you're enjoying this podcast, or scan the QR code you see now. That will take you to our Just Giving page where you can learn more and donate. If you're not in a position to donate, that's more than okay. Times are tough and we understand. Please consider sharing our Just Giving page on social media. It will help spread the word and the work that we're doing. Thanks for listening, and for now, let's get back to the podcast.
So Moody made the mistake this week.
Yes, a mistake. Really a mistake, yeah?
Of texting us this morning and being like, oh, it might be last night or whatever, whenever it was, of saying, oh, like, I'll just let you guys pick a third topic and I'll just follow you. And that was a mistake.
That's what we did. You have no power here, Moody.
So we went down a list of things. We thought, okay, well, it's Moody's topic, so let's make it about either Pokemon or Dino Crisis. We had no ideas for Dino Crisis. So it became about Pokemon pretty quickly. And we went down and started out in a pretty reasonable place of like, hey, what can we talk about Pokemon? Like, we can't do the horror thing. I did that in my Resident Evil video. And then we just went down and down and down and down. And then eventually we ended up on, I was cooking chicken while we were asking these questions back and forth. And I said, why don't we just ask the question of which Pokemon looks the tastiest to eat? And that's what ended up in the document. Moody, have you ever thought about this question before?
No. Not at all. I can tell you that right now.
Now, hang on 2 seconds. Now, I understand in one of these Pokemon games, they serve Pokemon curry, and there's 151 different types of this curry, and there happen to be at one time 151 different types of Pokemon. And no one ever claimed where the meat came from for these Pokemon curries. And even the producers of the video game was like, well, we don't know. Wink, wink. They were chopping these Pokemons up.
Yeah, probably, but doesn't mean I want to eat any of them.
They're
my poker friends.
there are 1,000 plus Pokemon in the Pokemon universe at this point, and you've never, even once, even for a moment, gone, I wonder what that would be like if I fried it and served it with potatoes.
In the Magikarp.
No.
You didn't.
I swear to you, I haven't.
You didn't like make the curry in Pokemon Sword and Shield and be like, I've not seen any animals.
I didn't think about
Where's
it
the meat?
much, I won't lie.
Where's the meat for this curry coming from?
My brain didn't connect to that
Have
at all.
you noticed
really
no
cared.
cattle in this game? Nobody's
There
rearing
is
any
cattle, but they're called Pokemon.
Where is this sandwich meat originating from?
Mystery meat.
There's a lot there, yeah. It's just one of those things out there. It's the great mystery of life and everything, but no.
I'm not out here saying I want to taste what a Zubat. I want to find out what a Zubat tastes like. I'm not out here.
What do you think a Zubat would taste like?
I think pretty gamey.
Meat.
Yeah. I mean, there is the thing of Moody being vegan,
probably because there's probably not much meat
There
on
is
the
that.
burger.
which I didn't consider until just now. It's like, wait, Moody doesn't eat meat. So, are there any?
That's why his description of what they taste like is meat.
Yes. Like, obviously, I don't know a great deal about Pokemon, right? So, like, when I've seen a video by Brian David Gilbert. It's not really about eating Pokemon. More about, like, it's one of the most over-asked questions in video game lore. Like, I wonder what Pokemon tastes like. But, like, you do some Googling about this question, and there are some unhinged answers. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, it's all unhinged, fair enough. But, like, there's tons of lists. I feel like all the video game websites have made lists. Top 10 Pokemon, and stuff. But, like, one of the lists I saw, I don't remember which website it was, because I was Googling this just before we started, was like, Mr. Mime's on that list. And I'm like, that's a fascinating take.
Now, is that just because they want to take one Mr. Mime off the streets so they can't be doing any other business?
Sure.
Like, if he's on a dinner plate, he's not out there doing creepy stuff
Okay.
up in these streets.
But, like, also, I mean, would you eat him?
Personally, no.
Would you kill and eat Mr. Mime?
That's where I draw the line. Is Blastoise on this list?
I think every list has just about every Pokemon you can think of.
So my rationale about Blastoise, and it's going to be a journey, chat. So stay with me. So the giant tortoises of the Galapagos Islands, and for colonial reasons, animal isn't considered discovered until or registered until a living example is brought from wherever it is to the Royal something or other in London, where some suits and beards go, yes, it's an animal. We shall give it a Latin name and write it in some journal. It took 200 years for the Galapagos tortoise rather, to be discovered, or from it being initially found and then brought back because they were too damn tasty to eat. And every single sample they brought back on the boats were eaten by the crew by the time they got to London. So if that meat was so succulent and tasty and all the good things, I imagine Blastoise has similar properties. I'm not saying I'm going to eat no baby Squirtle or even Wartortle because they're cute. But Blastoise, I'd be interested to see what that's like.
There's a Pokemon who, and I don't remember which Pokemon it is. And like, there's 1,000. It's hard to search these things, but like, has these spoons, and like,
Alakazam?
I don't know. Again, I don't know. It has spoons, and like, I've read Pokedex. I've read a lot of Pokedex entries because I'm twisted that way, and like, if it really likes someone, like bonds with them, it can give them one of its spoons. And then, like, anything you eat with this spoon, like, tastes amazing, apparently, according to the Pokedex entry. And I've always been fascinated by that concept. Like, it's a spoon that makes anything taste good. Anything interesting. But, like, I look at these lists, and I go, I don't know anything about this Pokemon. Let me check the Pokedex.
And then, the horrors.
See what it says about this Pokemon. And then there's one that's called Execute. And it's like 6 little dudes that look like eggs, but are not eggs. It's very clear about them not being like eggs. They just look like eggs. And they're actually seeds. And like, I'm like, okay.
A tree afterwards.
Yeah, sure. But I'm like, they look like eggs. Maybe they taste like eggs. Like, maybe you cook them like eggs, like you would crack them open and like fry them, boil them, stick them in a stew. That's potatoes.
One of the pictures is they're all cracked.
Exactly, and they look like eggs on the inside. But then, like, I'm looking at like Pokemon Gold. The shell's very durable, makes sense. Even if it cracks, it can survive without spilling the contents. So, like, if I'm gonna make Execute omelet, six Execute omelet, and I'm cracking these motherfuckers open.
And they're still not coming out.
And like, I'm pouring their contents out into the pan, and they're still alive. And I'm having an existential crisis at this point. Like, I don't know if I'm concerned about what they taste like.
Are you cooking with headphones at that point to kind of drown out the screams?
Hitting it with the spatula. Just be quiet, please.
Stop screaming.
Stop screaming at me. Yeah, like I think I went too deep on this one and thought about things way too much. Where it's just like, they're just eggs. You should just think of them as eggs. Like a Magikarp, it's good fish and chips, perfect.
This is logic you can't argue with, Moody. There is no comeback to this.
But don't have to come back at us. Just stay quiet.
But like, if you like, so we're pretty sure the curries in Pokemon Sword and Shield are made from Pokemon.
Yes, probably yes.
So, like, chicken is probably the most ubiquitous meat in the real world.
Yes.
So, what do you think, like, the Pokemon world's version of chicken is? Like, what's the most ubiquitous?
It's Torchic. It's or Combustion or Blaziken. That's probably because that is a chicken.
Is that a more recent one, like from the
it's
later
Generation
games?
3. It's Generation 3.
So the next generation. It's Deep Space Nine.
My immediate thought was like the Pidgeotto, Pidgeot.
But like,
you could go to any race here, I guess you could. But Pidgeotto is like basically it's a Pidgey. Like it's like that's what the bird is from, like in real life and everything. Like Pidove is like a dove, and like
I mean, are you putting
Noctowl is the owl type.
That's true.
Then you've got Talo, which is basically like a falcon, I think it is. Then you got Star Raptor, which is basically a giant fucking eagle.
Tauros, that's a bull. I'm getting people making stakes from that.
Which one?
Tauros.
Oh,
The
Tauros.
bull.
Yeah, the bull one. Yeah, I guess you could. That could be the cow type, I guess, from the first generation. Basically, if you just wanted to go off the first generation, I guess. I can't believe I'm indulging you here. So if you wanted to go chicken, that's Pidgey, off Spearow. If you wanted to go, vegetables, that's Oddish, Gloom, or Valial Plume. I guess you could throw Bulbasaur, Ivysaur into that and Venusaur.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to pull the
monsters
pin.
over
I
here.
wasn't going to pull the pin on
much.
that question until much later on. It's like, would you actually eat Bulbasaur?
No, I'm just I
like you're all right.
To this. If you want to go another chicken, that's Farfetch'd, Doodoo.
Farfetch'd nuggets will be pretty good. That's from the Brian David Gilbert film video. Yeah. But so you're trapped in Pokemon World, right?
All right.
You're starving. Like this is a desert island situation. Like you're gonna die, unless you eat. You got plenty of water, so that's fine. Like you don't need to worry about drinking a Pokemon. We're not even gonna. We'll save that for a future.
Wringing out like a tentacle, trying to get that water.
It's just using a water type to fire its water
directly into your mouth. Like a water fountain, like a Blastoise water fountain.
There without realizing what I was about to say. Oh my god!
Like so, you're on that desert island, and there's like Pokemon everywhere, and it's like you're gonna have to eat something. There's no vegetables or anything like that. Like it's a desert island. So like, which Pokemon are you eating to not die?
You can eat the bug types to get that protein.
I mean, if you want to go down that road, like if you want to go down that survivalist route, you can.
I mean,
you can
work
eat a
down
bug.
the list, right? You leave the bugs for last.
I'm saying, like you've got Pokemon around you. You're looking at them. You're like, I'm starving to death here. Which one am I taking out? Which one am I roasting over the campfire?
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be Magikarp.
Magikarp.
There you go.
Yeah. So you get a Magikarp, you get a nice little sea
Or
bass.
I would just get a water Pokemon to use Ice Beam on me to freeze me, and then I eventually get saved 1,000 years later.
And then we're in a Futurama situation. Oddish is a root vegetable.
Yeah.
I'm glad your immediate thought wasn't right. I'm going to catch some Rattatas. Just like screw it.
Well, you were going straight to the bugs. It's like, dude, like there's like you could have a Pyro. It might be a bit spicy because its breath attack is hotter than the surface of the sun, but it's
not when it's dead. Maybe
if you kill it, it might explode like a fusion reactor. But you take that chance when you're starving to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking up Oddish because I'm like, interesting. It's a radish.
Yeah.
With eyes.
It's a root vegetable, yeah.
And I'm scanning the Pokedex to see if there is any like nightmare feel in it. And then there's not really. Like if you go straight up, but like as I pointed out,
Jinx. I'm telling you now.
Like if you go to the Pokemon Sun and Moon Pokedex entries, that's where the real nightmare feel was. It wasn't in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Or if it was, it's not got the thing listed. Wakes up at night, plants its feet, scatters its seeds in moonlight. Like, seems pretty harmless. Doesn't like the sun. I can respect that.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I think we wrung this topic out as much as we can here.
I have no fucking idea.
We would probably turn more people vegan if we're honest.
I mean, look, right? Like, maybe that's all we're trying to do here. I've heard veganism is the future, and we don't have like replicators like they do in Star Trek yet. So,
what would you replicate?
What would I replicate? Food? Are we just talking food here?
Just food, yeah.
Just food. All right, cool. I mean, I don't know, like in a post scarcity society, like what would be the thing where you'd be like, oh man, like I really Like, fuck you, McDonald's, and I'll just replicate a Big Mac.
Yeah, we're not giving money to a corporation that funds genocide.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we'll get.
I'll just replicate it. Beep,
We'll get a
boop,
chicken
bop.
sandwich at home.
Got a Big Mac. I mean, I already know Moody's going to say Bulbasaur. It's like, you would replicate a Bulbasaur. Not to eat, to have. As like a pet, if you could replicate it.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that stream we did where you were playing Pokemon and halfway through you stopped and you started showing me pictures of Pokemon and I was like, I don't know what the fuck
What,
is
sexy Pokemon?
No, just any Pokemon.
Quote unquote sexy Pokemon.
And I was like, what the fuck is that thing? And I was like, you were making me try to guess like anything about them and it was hilarious. We should do that to Vitz because I don't think Vitz is burdened with the knowledge of Pokemon like I am now. That sounds like a charity stream. Sounds like a charity
I'm still
stream.
very
Stretch
naive when
goal.
it comes to that.
Yeah, I'm not anymore,
I
unfortunately.
could literally go, so Vitz, is this a Pokemon or is this the Pokemon? Which one's the Pokemon?
Who's that Pokemon? Yes, I'm down for that.
Yes, that's it. Vitz, who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu. Fuck.
It's Valerian.
No, I know Moody enough. It's Bulbasaur. It's Bulbasaur.
It's always Bulbasaur.
I feel like
it's Charmander.
I feel like Vitz would get that wrong, even though if he looks at the screen, he can see like 10 Bulbasaur.
Any one time.
He would still be like, it's Bulbasaur. It's like, it's not even the right color, Vitz. It's pink. I'm like, why did you think that was Bulbasaur?
Hey, the answer's always Bulbasaur.
Magnezone. It's just like, hey, the answer's Bulbasaur. It's like, it's a flying saucer.
It's a fucking cup.
It's still Bulbasaur.
That's what means it's cup Bulbasaur, right?
There you go, yeah.
Anyway, now that we've driven everyone away from listening to this podcast.
Finally, my job is done. Peace.
There you go. People
What do you mean your
let us know
job?
in the
This only
comments
happened
below.
because you didn't give us a topic.
There you go.
A mistake I don't think you're going to
Don't-
repeat in the
don't.
future.
I'm not going to get into it.
Dear listener,
Not
let
gonna
us
get
know what you replicate in the comments below.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a pet, not to eat, please.
But also
I
to
don't
eat.
need any of this.
Like, it doesn't have to be a Pokemon. Like, if we're just talking, like, what would you replicate out of a Star Trek replicator? Because, like, I'd replicate all the alien shit, like, all the alien food. Try that.
What? Gah.
Maybe not gas.
Oh, you'd have to replicate a Earl Grey piping hot just for
I don't like it.
just
I've
for-
had it before.
no,
It's
but
like-
just for the vibes.
It was one of the first
Not
teas I
bad.
tried because of Patrick Stewart, and I was like, it sucks. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even Patrick Stewart's favorite tea.
Yeah. That probably tracks.
I remember reading that in an interview once. Anyway, let's get back to some serious topics like game reviews, which are an absolute mess.
Are they great?
They're
Oh,
fucking
well.
terrible. They're in such.
I was
state.
close. It was
I
one or
wrote,
two.
I wrote out some bullet points because this sprang from a TikTok I saw from a user's name I can't remember. I apologize. So the Star Wars Outlaws previews hit up at the end of July, and they were mixed. And I wanted to clarify by mixed, there were positive ones and negative ones, which is an important distinction because you hear the word mixed nowadays, and many people take that to be they're all bad, and we're just being nice about it. Whereas, like, that's not what mixed means. Bad is bad.
I mean, there are two ends of the spectrum when it comes to video game reviews. Everything's the best thing ever, or it should burn in a fire. There's no middle ground.
See, this is
This is
why
what we
this is why I have a different YouTube algorithm than you guys.
That's why I need to get that YouTube Premium.
So, yeah. So, G-Man Lives on YouTube ended up removing their positive Star Wars Outlaws preview after receiving abusive comments, including many that accused G-Man of being paid to praise the game. And I wanted to remind everyone that these commenters have not played Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
And then I did the thing I do, and I Googled it, because I didn't actually know who the YouTuber was who'd removed the thing. So I was like Google searching, like, how the fuck? Who the fuck did this? And a cursory glance at Google told me that there are certain websites of a certain political persuasion who have been accusing Ubisoft or an intermediary company of demanding content creators edit their previews to be wholly positive. The existence of negative Star Wars Outlaws previews kind of disproves that theory instantly, but, you know, good on you for trying critical thinking, I guess.
Yeah. Don't bother me with your facts, Amy. We don't need facts in this conversation.
My feelings don't care about your facts. That's how that saying goes.
Exactly.
Anyway, this all reminded me of last year's Starfield controversy, where the reviews were mixed, again, positive and negative, not just, people didn't like it. But like that controversy was obviously quite different because it was mostly instigated around... The controversy I'm referencing was around professional video game reviewers from major websites complaining about the negative Starfield reviews that were objectively wrong or promoting an anti-Xbox agenda. I remember that one tweet by, I think it was the guy from Windows Central, and if it wasn't, I apologize. Yes. He was like, Starfield is objectively an 8. At the lowest, it's a 7. People calling it a 6, you know, and it's just like, what the fuck are you even talking about? So yeah, game reviews are a bit of a mess, and we've kind of danced around this topic a few times on this podcast in the last 6 to 12 months. And I just thought, hey, let's dive into it head first. I wrote some questions. Do we want to go with the questions that I wrote, or do we just want to have a more free-flowing discussion?
Let's go to questions. I think.
Yeah, let's get into the questions.
On track.
I don't know if it's going to keep us on.
I don't know much about what you've been, about any of this, basically. I know, like, obviously, reviews obviously have been mixed and everything for a lot of people. Well, like what you said, for years, basically. But this will help me guide me in the right direction.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I have several questions. I thought about doing a video essay, like, research thing on this, but, like, I haven't had the time. And it makes me head hurt every time like I try to dive into this. Because one of the main things I think differing opinion, like the reaction to opinions that are different to yours, it seems to be a big thing. It's not necessarily positive or negative, like, oh, you have to, because the TikTok was like, oh, you know, you have to be negative, otherwise people are going to accuse you of being a shill. It's like, well, for certain games, like if you flip it the opposite way, it's like if you're positive about it, like, people that call you paid shills, but if you're negative, you've got an agenda. Why are you criticizing this game? So my first question was, if differing opinions lead to arguments about who is objectively right or wrong from people who have already made up their minds before playing, what is the point of the reviews in the first place?
You're 100% right, and I think it's important to recognize that reviews in totality are marketing.
Yes.
So whether that is publishers providing reviewers with games typically for free, with a review with the expectation of having a review put out, whether it's positive or negative or otherwise kind of thing, it is still marketing. And even it's an old adage of even bad press is still press at the end of the day kind of thing. And if eyeballs are seeing your game, even if it's a positive or negative light, is better than them not even having heard of your game and nobody talking about it. And I think it's important to have that caveat that all of this is marketing at the end of the day.
It's probably also important for me to preface this with, you know, I did review games for a while. So, you know, I did get the codes and do the things and do the previews and play the games before they came out and wrote my reviews in a vacuum. It was great.
Yeah. you didn't wait to see what box of goodies are out at your door before you started writing the review.
I never got the box of goodies. I was never that tier of reviewer. Like, I got one fucking Fallout. I got one Fallout. Whatchamacallit, like figure.
The bobblehead?
Ironically, yeah, Vault Boy. I got one Vault Boy, but ironically, that was for the release of Fallout 76, and they didn't send me the actual game. I got a postcard and a Vault Boy, but not the game.
See you in the
So the only time I actually got goodies, I didn't actually get the game to review. I had to buy it myself. I did like an idiot, but yeah, no, it is all marketing. Like, I think we've seen some pretty obvious examples of that. Like, generally speaking, if you're a smaller game, you'll send you send out your codes to as many places as want them, because you want to try and the more reviews that people write, the better it is for search engine optimization. Like the more pieces or videos that exist, the higher you'll go in the rankings when people are looking
We're all
for
slaves
video
to the
game
algorithm.
content. And we are unfortunately all slaves to the algorithm. In terms of bigger games, we saw this explicitly last year with Hogwarts Legacy. And the strategy around the reviews in that one, we saw it nakedly happen, where it was certain outlets were selected because not because the reviewers were paid off to write good reviews, but because these were the outlets and the reviewers that were most likely to give the game a higher score.
Yes.
More positive reviews, and it worked because if you remember when the game first came out, the Metacritic was 90, I think, but it was quite high. And then as more reviews started getting added, that was when the score started dropping. And that's one way that they do it. They identify, not just with that game, with all AAA games, they identify the outlets that are most likely to give them positive. It's got nothing to do with being paid shills or whatever. It's like giving the Dark Souls guy the Dark Souls game is probably going to result in a more positive review of the Dark Souls game because they already like the Dark Souls game.
100%. I think to your question of people already making up their minds, I think people come to review with a preconceived notion in their mind, and they're looking for the review to validate their feelings. And if they don't, then that's where the rub comes of it. And clearly they're paid off or have this agenda if they don't align perfectly with whatever their preconceived notions were.
Yeah. I think that is something. I don't know how many people read reviews for the actual reviews as much as go to see if they're looking for opinions that validate their own opinions.
Yeah.
People watch reviews to see people say the same things that they're thinking. Is a thing, definitely. It's one of the reasons I stepped out of reviews altogether.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Moody?
Reviews are stupid, and I'm sick of them. I won't lie. Just go in with your own opinion and everything. I won't everything what you said is all spot on. They're using it for the algorithm and everything. I can literally say right now, we go to certain YouTubers because they've given us positive reviews before on some of our games and everything like that, or they've been excited for the game that what we've got coming out and everything. And it's just that, because they've been very proactive and positive towards the game that they think they could be really enjoying because of the trailers and everything like that. We've moved out to going towards them and to say, yo, we can would you like to want to work together type of thing. And it is just one of those things. I don't follow the rhetoric of the numbers or anything like that. It's seeing it all out there. It's just, I'm getting sick of it because numbers also don't mean absolutely jack shit at the same time, because or the reviews don't really mean all absolutely jack shit, because going off from the experience of what I've been working on and everything like that, there's we've got a game out there that overall is I would say it's from the reception from people is overall being given decent to good overall from people. That's to a lot of people probably here say 6 or 7 out of 10 or something like that. Overall something like that. I can say right now it's our best selling game of all time. It's and it's done absolutely amazing for us. And it hasn't done the numbers of what Call of Duty is or what the FIFAs do and all like that, but it's done incredibly well for us. That made us be really well done, And it's this is the thing about it's all. I'm just I don't even listen to bloody movie reviews anymore because I'm really just sick of hearing all. Sometimes it's I don't want to. Mostly it's I don't want to be influenced or anything like that. That basically or anything like that. But also if it's if they're gonna just be negative, I just don't want to hear the negativity right now. I'd rather just go in and see something if I want to. If it's interesting to me, then I'll make the effort to go and see it. If I have no interest in it, then I won't make an effort to go and see anything or play anything or anything like that. And it's just really just all over the place. Like, you see all the idiots, like I don't trust content creators to open a can of fucking beans at all. I'll state that right now. Normal content creators, the content creators who try and do this as a job and everything. That's what I mean, Amy. And everything. And even you, Vitz. I know you were here and all like that, but I don't trust them whatsoever.
Shouldn't trust me. I just came up with the Pokemon with the what Pokemon is the tastiest when you gave me 5.
True. You've proven how much I shouldn't trust you.
You shouldn't trust me.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just YouTubers, content creators out there, like they think that some of the ones are like think like, oh, I can do all this and everything like that. You're just an easy, cheap marketing tool. That's all you are, and you're nothing more than that. And some of them who basically also basically get served for free, and you're easy free marketing and whatnot. So you just sadly they've become part of the tool that is out there to try and get the marketing out there for a game and everything. And sadly, because they've been able to do it, some of them have become very successful for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen to their fucking opinions and everything like that. And it's just like, yeah. Like, I overall dislike it like hell.
Yeah, it's someone who just like doesn't. I didn't read reviews when I was a reviewer because obviously I was trying to form my own opinions about a video game. Like, I wasn't trying to be influenced for a different reason than you were trying to be influenced, but like that. When I stopped reviewing games, that never really came back. Like, I never really sought out like reviews of something, for no other reason than I just personally like setting aside the discourse around reviews and just video game opinions in general. Like, I really enjoy criticism of video games, and I love talking about like video games as like an art form. And I love listening to people talk about video games as an art form, but reviews, specifically like, the day and date reviews you'd see on like GameSpot or like Scale Up or whatever, don't shade at either of them. Just so we're clear.
We could have named two completely different outlets.
Those are just two places that just came first into my head. But like I don't find reviews particularly valuable to like the larger discussion of video games in general. Like, I love watching deep dive content into like video games, like, and I love hearing people's opinions, but like opinions that aren't formed in like the 5 minutes after you've played the game. Like, I have made some truly spectacularly awful statements on this podcast about a game I just beat because we're reviewing it, and like I'll think back and like but then like my brain goes to work on thinking about the game that I've just played or the art that I've just interacted with, and then thought, wow, like no. Like wow, and like I've nailed, and like there's a part of me that's like, damn, and I've nailed my like pillar like to the mast on that opinion, and it's like I don't even think that anymore. Like
100%. And sadly we're in this cycle where it has to be the newest latest thing that we need to be talking about, and it's one of these where it's more and more rare that we get to revisit an old, never mind a game, but like a movie or a book or something, and come back with, because obviously as more and more time grows, we grow and change as people, and we have new different ways of thinking about things, and we can use that lens to then take whatever art it was and have a new perspective on it. But there just isn't I don't want to say there isn't the appetite, because I think there is one, but I think it's just more and more niche because the content grind is newest, latest is best.
It's like the review turnaround on games we've spoken about on the podcast before, and I've experienced this with games where it's like you get like this huge 100-hour game dropped on you, and it's like, cool, you got 2 weeks.
Yes,
and that's not just 2 weeks to play it; that's 2 weeks to write a review. And I don't know how many people know much about writing, but like your first draft is awful.
Yes,
like, and it always will be. So you got to rewrite that shit to make it sound decent, and it's just like for me, I find the best commentary, the most insightful like stuff comes from thinking about something. Like, I know, like mind blowing, right?
Taking a moment to sleep on it, and
it's
then
like taking some time to like think about the thing that you just experienced, like, and I feel like we're in this like era of hot takes, and I think game reviews are suffering from that as well, where it's like you have to have that out. If you don't have that out at embargo, bam, you're done. There's not even any point. Like,
yeah,
and there is a point. Like, I want to see what you think of something. Even better if you thought longer about it. Like my YouTube subscription list from when it comes to video games, like, and as somebody who does a video game podcast, has 0 podcasts in it. Like I just don't find a lot of, like, because even podcasts suffer from it, right? It's like you've got to be talking about like the hot topic. You've got to be talking, otherwise you won't get clicks, and it's like that kind of sucks because like I don't want to see people's hot takes. Like, Moody, you said something in Discord a long time ago, and you probably don't remember it, and I don't remember what you said, but I know you had this really insightful thing to say about hot takes, and I wish I'd remembered it before the podcast so I could find it and say it back to you, but...
I think basically what I say is hot takes aren't that big, aren't as big as what they think they are. I think something like that. I think they're as hot as they are, hot as what people make them out to be and anything like that.
Yeah, it's like...
It's just your opinion, there's nothing wrong
hot
with
takes are hot trash. Let's say you said that.
Yeah, sure.
It's snappy.
Nice and snappy. But like, yeah, it's like if you're going out of your way to do a hot take, it's like, okay, so in your mind, what you're doing is you're just trying to stoke a controversy for clicks. That's what people mean when they say, here's a hot take. It's like
it's engagement farming, 100%.
It's engagement farming, and I think reviews fall into that as well. Like, my thing is like watching ridiculously long videos about games that are like really old.
Yeah.
Like while I was doing this DIY, and I've seen this video before, so it was just on in the background. It was Noah Caldwell-Joyce talking about the Fallout series. Like, and I find that super insightful because like he's played all the games and he's written this massively long script. The video's 9 hours long, so you don't watch it all at once. And like that's the kind of video game critique or just art critique in general that I really appreciate. Like, I like sitting down and just chatting video games with you, but like I'm not feeling myself under any pressure to like give you like the best possible version of any opinion that I have on a video game. Like that's going to come from my scripted content, and it's still bad because they're bad videos. But but like yeah, it's just, I don't know, like game reviews just and then to add on to that with the discourse and like the surrounding discourse about it. And like with the Starfield thing, even with like the actual reviewers have now started wading into this with truly horrifically bad statements, such as, well, I think Starfield is objectively at least a 7, and if you go lower, there's something wrong with you. It's like, fuck off, man. For starters, the numbers themselves aren't even objective. Like what an 8 means to me, if I decided to start giving games numbers out of 10, will be completely different to what an 8 means to Vitz.
Absolutely.
So you can't even make that sentence like make sense, at all.
And it changes from reviewer to reviewer, and I get that people like to find personalities whose gaming tastes align with themselves, so they can feel they have a sense of, oh, this person likes or into the same games that I like. So if they like it, then there's a strong chance that I might like it as well.
Yeah, sure. Like when Rebecca Valentine like posts about a game that she's really enjoying, I'm gonna check that game out because she has a lot of the same tastes that I do. Like I follow people, not necessarily game reviewers, like sometimes just people in general. It's like, and if they say, oh, I've been playing this game and I really like it, I'm like, cool, then there's a good chance that I'm gonna like it as well.
Yeah, and there is value in that. And I think from Moody's point before about, and to the question, what is the point of reviews? I think for me, reviews are still, they have some validity in the fact that as a consumer and as a regular consumer, that kind of thing, we're still making financial investments into these. Now, obviously, like there's a scale of what AAA game costs and what other games cost and all the rest of it. But there is a financial investment, and it's one of these of, yes, we may have a preconceived notion in our mind of what this game is from all the marketing materials, trailers and preview trailers and all that jazz, but it's still, do you think it's worth for example, £70 worth of investment on day one? Or do you think this is something to avoid, or is this something just to keep an eye on, and then maybe when they get patched in a couple of months' time, that'll be the time to jump in? So I think that's the only validity that I draw from it. But you're right in what you're saying in terms of when when GT7 came out, and I had the preconceived notions in my mind of, okay, in my mind, I'm building this hype up of, oh, they said Gran Turismo is back, and this is what I expect. And then when it did come out and what it reviewed like, they were two different things. And that can be misleading to a lot of people. So yeah, you need to find the voices you align with. But for me, that's where I get the value of reviews, in terms of just getting that general sense of, is this something that's worth my time, worth my money right now, or can it wait? Because there's several thousand other games to play, because more and more games come out every single day.
Yeah, I get that. Like I've started looking up gameplay for stuff. That's I did that with a game this year actually. I don't remember which one it was. It was like, I wasn't too familiar. Oh, it was Princess Peach, and I wasn't too familiar with like what this game was supposed to be. And I read a review, and I still didn't know what the game was supposed to be.
All the video released, like all the marketing press gave nothing away about the game.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what this game is from the marketing. I read a review from an outlet that, like, I read for like other stuff, and I was like, it was a very well written piece, but I was still like, and I think I remember messaging you guys, and I was like, but I don't know what the game is still.
Yeah. What are you?
This is a very nice piece of written. Like a very nice written piece, but I still don't actually understand the game, like, and what it is, and if I would like it. So then I was like, go to Nintendo. Like, I'm looking at the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can vibe with this, and I really liked it. The game, that is. Like, for me, when I was writing reviews, I always try to make sure that, like, I was putting enough of my opinion in there, so that, or like why my opinion was the way it was, so that like if I liked a game, but like Moody wouldn't like it, like I want him to be able to read that review or listen to that review and then know that he actually wouldn't like it, even though I did. Like that's where I come from with it. It wasn't about like being a voice for like people to like glom onto if they like if you like the same things I like. It's more of a case of like, I want you to have that information of like,
and then make up your own why. Don't just blindly follow.
Yeah. Here's why I liked the things that I liked about this game. Make your own decision. But the other part of the other side of the coin with this discourse is when it comes to consensus. Like, before a game comes out, especially a big game, there's always a consensus around it. Like, this game is good or this game is bad. Like, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is bad. Like, nobody could possibly like that game except people do like that game. Except people do like that game. But if you ever tried to say that you like that game out loud, like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I had mild criticisms of Shadow of the Erdtree a few weeks ago. You can't say bad things about Elden Ring on the internet. It's not allowed. And that's just a horrible like way to approach this kind of thing. Like, your opinion is wrong. How?
Yeah,
it's my opinion.
Exactly.
I came to that opinion by playing the fucking game for 35 hours.
Yeah, you just look at the box art and thought, I've gained my opinion, that's it.
Yeah. Clearly this game is going to be like this. No, I played the fucking game. Like, it's the same with any game opinion that I have. Like, all of my opinions come from playing it. But, and sometimes my opinions go against the grain. My Alone in the Dark opinion did.
Yeah.
I thought that game was pretty okay. It was kind of good. Like, but there's this consensus around the game where it's like, we've all agreed that this game is not very good.
Collectively, we all had the vibe. We all made sure you got the vibe. Like, you got the vibe. You're like,
that to me is the most boring way to approach art. And I think it's why like the Starfield review thing really riled me up last year. Because the reviewers themselves started wading into it, and like, we're trying to flatten the discussion when what we should be doing is we should just be allowing everybody to talk about what they thought about the game. Did you like it? Cool. Why? Let's have an interesting discussion about it. Me and Moody do it all the time. We disagree more than we agree, I think, when it comes to video games.
The thing is, when it comes to like people having a conversation and everything like that, because of like social media and all the other outlets and everything like that, it is your opinion is wrong. This is the thing about it. Your opinion's never wrong.
Yeah.
It's just your opinion. That's it. It's like you may not agree. Like Amy just said, me and Amy probably disagree a lot of things on when it comes to video games, on like of what we prefer and everything like that. But I'm not going to say to Amy, and Amy won't say to me, "You're fucking wrong," and this is the reason why.
Yeah.
Why? Because of this. Your reason is just because I didn't like this certain thing. That isn't right, and you know that type of thing. You know what I mean? And that's the worst thing about that any discourse that happens. So when you see, like, say, like, as far like these guys get kind of funny. Like they have decent conversations on the part of like because they respect one another. They're not going to be saying, "No, you're fucking wrong, Snowbite Reich," or "You're wrong."
And I have had some interesting discussions with that man about some of his video.
All over the place.
I've had some interesting discussions with that man about some of his more interesting video game opinions, but I've never called him wrong. I've never said he's wrong.
He's bonkers, but I love it. How that he's bonkers with it. I love that his opinions are just like, well, what? Like, why his opinion? Why you give
they are authentically him, and that's all you can ask of anybody.
But like, like I remember Fallout 76, the year it came out. He fucking loved that game, and like. That's great. And like I love that he loved it, but what I especially appreciated was that he gave me a different perspective on it. And I loved that. I loved having that different perspective. Like that's one of the reasons I love talking with Moody about video games, because he sees them in a different way than I do a lot of the time. So I get to see what this other perspective is. Like, you know, there'll be a game that he likes, there'll be a game that I don't like. We've both played it and we both talk about it, but then I get to see it from his perspective, and I don't sit here and try and defend my own opinion. I listen to his perspective and I go, that's fucking cool. Like, I'm really glad you got that out of that.
To your point about respect, I think that's something that's just generally lacking when it comes to the internet. And I think that's a lot of the problem in terms of people just have that silo of this is my opinion and I am right, therefore everybody else is wrong, and fuck you for having a different opinion than me kind of thing. I think that's where it stems from.
The thing is that everyone feels like they have to defend their opinion. It's like, you don't. Just throw your opinion out there and just leave it. That's it. There's nothing more. Your opinion, you should not have to be getting given, like saying like what Amy just said, like she doesn't agree like some of the things like I've said on some video games, but she's not going to go out and fucking bash me about it and say anything like that.
Unless
it's
you
it's just respecting it.
Unless it was like factually incorrect, where, you know, and when I mean what I mean by factually incorrect would be like, I hated Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there were no chocobos in it, and it's just like, well, I mean, that's just wrong. Like, you know, like when we talk to that level, but it's like, you know, I hated Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I didn't like the combat. It's like, all right, cool, like, why not?
That's fine.
Like, tell me about it. Like, why not? Like, that's cool. I like to hear that kind of thing. Like one of my favorite YouTubers, Noah Caldwell Gervais, he got a lot of shit for his videos about Dark Souls, and like the other games like Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Sekiro, and like I watch those videos, I love those videos. Like, he got a lot of shit for being bad at the games and having bad opinions because of like being bad at the games. He still enjoyed those videos, and I sit there and I watch those videos, nodding along, even to the parts that I disagree with, where I'm like, I can see where you're coming from, but I disagree.
I think it's that wrestling mentality of it's real to me, damn it. So whatever perspective and like experience a reviewer has, it's real to them, and it's no or more or less valid than anybody else's.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, I'm an open book, and I won't lie. I love it, like when most of the time, like say we all agree on something. I won't lie that
it's fun.
It's great to see. It's great. It's great to hear like, oh god, we love this game and it's awesome. That's fantastic. Yes, we might have different opinions of certain things and everything like that, but it's just like overall, we love this game. We're gonna shout it to the rooftop that this game is great. Go out and buy it, type of thing, and whatnot. That's what we want. That's what I want. Like, I love that and everything like that. But I also love, and I'm not going to criticize this. Say if one of you say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I just didn't click with it. It's not for me," or anything like that. I was like, yeah.
And we had that this earlier this year with Rebirth, and you gave it a go.
That's true, yeah.
Absolutely, you gave it a go, and that was completely valid that it didn't click with you.
But it was, again, like, I enjoyed that perspective, and I think
100%.
that's what's missing from a lot of this sort of discourse, and I think it's one of the reasons why I feel so disconnected from reviews, because, like, I value other people's perspectives, and I wish more people did value those different perspectives. Like, I want to read someone who completely disagrees with all of my thoughts on, say, Elden Ring, like, because I'll find value in that, like, and it's not gonna offend me in any way. Like, you know, if they disliked all of the things that I loved, or they loved all the things that I hated about that game, and there were things that I definitely disliked about that game. Like, no game is perfect, but yeah, no, like, I just think we're in this, like, siege mentality of, and I get why, because, like, the toxicity around, like, video game opinions, like, it's so toxic out there. I get why people are in this siege mentality, where it's like, if someone does disagree with me, it's like, am I under attack at this point? Like, is this going to come from 3,000 different directions?
Yeah.
People don't like the Resident Evil video because they thought it was supposed to be serious, even though I was very clear up front. And I was like, I did not take this seriously in any way. I apologize. I even put a freaking slide right at the beginning saying, I'm so sorry, but, you know, people didn't like it. That's fine. Like, but, like, there's a difference between attack and just having a different opinion. And a lot of people go on the attack quite quickly as well, which I think,
like a snap reflex.
Yeah, I think
like
I think contributes to this. It's like, I've definitely gotten defensive on the internet over like criticism, because I've also had the other thing a lot, and sometimes it can be hard to see the difference when, like, people are yelling at you because they don't like what you've said, versus someone just being, like, critical, which is totally valid, like, constructively critical.
You can be critical without being mean, and I think that's an art that's lost on many people.
Yeah, we got a comment on a YouTube video. I don't remember what it was about. It was this big long thing about something that one of us had said, and I just replied, "Yep, cool story, bro."
Yeah,
like, whatever. I don't know why you went out of your way to say this. Like, it seems pointless, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, like, I can see why, like, the defensiveness comes from, even from game reviewers, but, like, I don't know. I feel like the only people who can change the conversation are the people who are a part of the conversation, and I feel like we need to do better in general as well.
100%. Yeah, and it in a weird way, it doesn't just apply to video games. It applies to when we
many
have
of the things we talk about on this
Absolutely.
podcast don't just apply to video games.
No, 100%. It applies to the example that's springing to my mind at the moment is when we talk about social issues, and the thing that obviously people are allowed to have different opinions. The bit that you alluded to, which really resonated with me, is that when people get things factually wrong or have made facts up to suit their agenda, what they're trying to,
which is also two different
across.
things. Yeah.
Yes. That I think that's what really gets my goat. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if you get something wrong, that's one thing. If you make something up to justify your opinion, that is a completely different thing. But then, even then, it's like, if I notice someone, like, making stuff up to justify a shitty opinion, I'm just gonna close the tab.
Yeah, just ignore it and move on, because it's like at that point they aren't deserving of your time or attention.
In his Shadow of the Erdtree video, Noah Caldwell Gervais kept calling Radagon, and I did wince every time he did it. But it's like, I'm not going to leave a hateful comment on his YouTube video just because he didn't pronounce Radagon correctly. I know what he meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley, Monkey the Luffy. Motherfucker.
Still haven't let that go. Jesus.
Don't think one.
I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how many legs you've got to stand on in that debate. You called him Keith for like a year.
I did. That's true. I did. How? I may not have legs to stand on, but I'm still gonna push.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm dragging the bastard down with me while falling off that chair,
while screaming, "Monkey D, Luffy! It's a D, Jeff! It's a letter." But I think Like, I think we all just need to like be better at reading, chill out, be more respectful of each other. Because I think we can have so much, like, people who have differing opinions can have such interesting conversations, but as long as we don't default to attacking and defending, I genuinely believe that, but we don't.
Yeah, take a moment to listen before you just snap back.
Yeah.
Listen.
Shut up.
Exactly. Like Navi would say.
Shut up, Navi.
Now, Amy, what have we learned?
Navi can go to fucking hell. You know what? Actually, do you know what? I never found Navi that annoying. Is that weird? Am I weird?
No, it's not weird at all.
No, not at all.
Anyway, let's move on from game reviews. Like, to no games to check in with.
Speaking of game reviews.
Speaking of game reviews, it's time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. What a segue.
Oh, Moody says video game numbers don't mean anything to him, but still manages to guess the exact number every single goddamn week.
Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point.
I don't care, but it's still a gift.
You bastard.
If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, or possibly the week before, we were trying to guess the OpenCritic average of World of Goo. I'm just looking up the other one because it didn't have review scores when I hit record.
I'm doing the same, yeah.
But if it did now, I'll accept them. But it doesn't. At least not that I can see.
Not.
World of Goo 2. Moody, you guessed it would get an 83. Vitz, it guessed it would get an 82. I guessed it would get an 84. At the time of recording, World of Goo 2 has an OpenCritic average of 83, which means Moody gets 2 points. We also trying to guess the OpenCritic average of the Crush House. Doesn't have reviews yet. We'll get back to that next week. That means that the current scores are currently sat at Amy 19, Moody 34, Vitz 13, 5 draws.
Well done, Moody.
Are you still salty about the fact that I wrote a note on it on April 25th that said Moody has won this game already?
Nah, fuck it. Like, are you guys going to start making this as a challenge, or do I just walk away with this even more than I already
You walked away with it in February. That's what the note says.
You're already running up the score just for fun.
You're just being mean about it at this point.
I'm just trying to make it difficult for myself. Like,
and he says he hates difficult games.
This is it.
That's true.
This week we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of 2 upcoming games. The first one is called Leximan. I played a demo of this. Anyone on this podcast who hasn't heard of Leximan, I talked about this game. So screw
yes,
you.
you did.
Moody, you get a pass because you don't remember half the shit I say anyway. Vitz, I expect better of you. You've actually got a memory, unlike me and Moody.
I didn't say it was a good memory. I have a memory.
You can remember things. All I can remember is Simpsons scenes.
See, if you've got a musical connotation and connection to it, that's what embeds in the old noggin.
Let's see, is that this game?
Now, I am quite confident that this game is probably not going to review amazingly well. However, I fucking love this demo. So I'm going with my heart because I have faith of the heart. And I'm going to go 88 no fails.
Bend or break me.
Guess what I've been watching this week?
Yeah.
I'll leave the intro running too.
I cut across. Oh, hell yeah. Every single time. I cut across that. Amy guessed 88.
Yeah, I said 88.
For those people. Yeah, I was singing over the top of it. People might not have heard.
It's been a long road.
Exactly. Mr. Moody, the action on you, my friend.
I will go with... Yeah, the game is pretty spot on. 75. I don't think anyone's going to review this. I hope to be proven wrong and like it's in the 80s and everything, because obviously you want to hear great successes and everything. And like indies are like a thing of like holding this year up and everything, which is amazing. Like indies always throw out bangers every year and everything. So it's like great to hear.
Play indie games.
Hopefully this
my camera's not up there anymore. Play indie games.
I would like to go for an 82, please.
All my favorite games are indie games. That's actually not true, but if I lie about it here, no one will be able to question it.
Yeah.
Because we already scared everybody off when we started talking about eating Pokemon.
Lovely, lovely Pokemon.
Delicious Pokemon.
Exactly.
The next game we're going to do the guessing for is called I Am Your Beast, which I also talked about.
Yeah.
From Steam Next Fest.
From the house that bought you Click Holding.
Yeah, and the Max Payne one from last year. What was that called again?
Suspicious Cat Scaffold? Something Scaffold,
Strange Scaffold is the name of the developer.
Strange Scaffold, that's it.
The game was El Paso Elsewhere. That was it.
Yeah. Coming soon to your movie theater near you.
Yeah, what the fuck? Where did that come from? That's amazing. Xavier Nelson Jr. is a great person as well.
They sure
follow him on social media. As for the game, fuck it. 88.
Never fails.
I think this game was sick when I played it.
Oh yeah, this game's got some real juice behind it.
Every time, every time Vitz has said that, it's been wrong. Every time Vitz has used the word juice in conjunction with an OpenCritic guess. Now, do I lower it? No, I've already put it in.
There you go. It's locked in.
I think this game is amazing. And as someone who loved Neon White and got heavy Neon White vibes from this game.
Yeah.
But Neon White also reviewed really well, which I was very happy about. Because I love that game so much.
Is it the same team?
No, it's a different. It's a different developer. It is quite a different game from Neon White. It's just it's in that similar sort of speedrunning, but not speedrunning category. You know, it's like
okay.
Makes you feel like a speedrunner.
I'll go a 79.
79.
80, please.
Annie.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've thrown in the towel. Maybe I'll just guess
4 points.
Maybe I'll just guess 88 every week.
There you go. One of the times.
You know what? Relentless positivity. That'll see me through.
Hopeless optimism.
Hopelessly optimistic.
There you go.
So those are our guesses locked in, and hopefully we get the Crush House reviews next week as well. I'll probably get them tomorrow. I would have thought. It's when the game comes out. Devolver Digital usually play their reviews quite close to release for everything.
Before we throw to Moody and his time to shine, friendly reminder, Saturday, 10th of August, 7 p.m. BST, twitch.tv/Words About Games, legally distinct 90s game shows with your host, this guy with the two thumbs, and the contestants you see on your screens right now.
Just a quick question. The questions themselves, are we talking like general knowledge questions, or are we talking like video game questions?
Both.
Crap. Moody, I think we're about to show the world how dumb we are.
I think we've proven that already, man, multiple times. But I think we're going to just basically give ourselves a gold medal.
He's gonna ask us all of these general knowledge questions. Neither of us can remember anything apart from Pokemon names and Simpsons clips. So I think we're in trouble.
True.
Maybe the questions are those. We'll find out as he hastily rewrites a bunch of the questions.
If you make me do the entire Planet of the Apes musical, I'm going to be so mad.
Amy, don't be silly. It's going to be the HMS Pinafore, the sideshow Bob has to say.
A British tar is a soul, soul because of Star Trek.
Yes, there you go.
God damn it. Sing Wolf Sing. If I say Sing Wolf Sing in the middle of it, does that disqualify me because it's not part of the song?
That gets you bonus points. You know that gets you bonus points.
Okay, good.
It's Wolf in time, everybody.
Just ask, do we want to do a check-in on Fantasy Critic? We haven't had a look on it.
Not at the moment, just because of the time of the podcast.
Okay.
But 1 week soon, we will get to it.
we will get to it. We'll get to it when you guys make it more interesting. You got to catch up to me a bit first.
I'm literally like 20 points behind.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long that
I'm
lasts.
catching you pretty easy.
Yeah,
sure. Astrobot's coming out in a couple of weeks.
So when Hollow Knight comes out, you're going to win the whole thing.
Fuck yeah.
2037. Moody, it's your time to shine. So shine on.
Apparently so. Hey, what up, everybody? You know what you did today? You made it. Another day is behind you. Another week has passed. We are proud of you because you are absolutely awesome. You are special and you deserve the absolute best. You are truly good enough because you are doing great. We believe in you, all of us, both me, Amy, and Vitz, one step at a time, one day at a time, one dream at a time. Jump up and high five that goddamn sky.
Jump now? Oh,
because you made it. Live long and prosper.
Peace.
Freeze frame like the end of Naked Gun.
Yes.